SAfm, South Africa's news and information leader.
Top stories. Reports find Putco bus was unroadworthy and half of America's firefighting resources deployed in Colorado. Good afternoon. Preliminary investigations by Sedibeng District Municipality licensing testing show that the bus in which 19 people were killed in a smash earlier this week in Meyerton in Midvaal was declared unroadworthy twice in less than a week. Earlier, Putco's Rapiri Matsaneng told the SABC that the bus passed the roadworthy test. He claimed that he had a letter from the authorities in Midvaal declaring the bus fit to be on the road. But it seems this is not the case, as Sedibeng District Municipality's Dan Monoli explains.
We have in our possession a document that comes from Midvaal that has been signed that indicates that the bus has passed, and I'm more than willing to make that document available to you. The document is in a PDF format. They are the ones who are doing the test on our buses.
Apologies for that incorrect soundbite. Let's go back to the Sedibeng District Municipality's Dan Monoli.
On the 12th of June, this bus in question was pulled over by one of our traffic officers and took it for a roadworthy test, and it subsequently failed. And then 2 days later, on the 14th of June, the very same bus was tested at the Putco private vehicle testing station, and it passed. According to our records at the Meyerton vehicle testing center, this bus was tested and it failed.
Authorities now say 2 young mothers and their toddlers died in the fire at a dwelling at Crossroads in the Cape Flats. Initial reports said a mother and 2 toddlers were burnt to death. Cape Town disaster risk management officials have since found the body of the other mother at the scene. Neighbor Bonisile Tulu.
Just saw the fire is blowing. When we came out, we saw the fire is coming. Came out, all of us, we take the water, we try to make the water, but we couldn't help.
The ANC's policy conference in Midrand is proposing that women should be the main beneficiaries of land redistribution. The recent cabinet midterm review pointed to the fact that overall at least 6.8 million hectares of land had been transferred to beneficiaries since 1994. This represents 27% of the 24.5 million hectares target by 2014. ANC NEC member Hlengiwe Mkhize says ownership of land, especially in rural areas, is also a major concern.
Those women don't own those fields. They are owned by the chief, and then sometimes the husband will be a caretaker. But it doesn't mean if your husband dies, you automatically own it. So the question of ownership for us is big, because we think it will really restore the dignity of women.
You can log on to the SABC News website for a detailed analysis of the conference. The website address is www.sabc.co.za/news. The 12 Eastern Cape nurses who were found guilty of 950,000 rands medicine fraud and theft have been sentenced to an effective fine of 20,000 rands each, or 2 years in jail. The sentence has been welcomed by the Eastern Cape Health Department, which says it hopes the punishment will serve as a warning. This has, however, angered nurses who packed the gallery. They say there's no proof and they're only guilty of poor bookkeeping.
I think they have been complying for our pledge, which says our patient will be our first consideration. They decided to consider patients first. We nurses, we feel pity for them, and we are so concerned what is going to happen to us tomorrow if the Department of Health is not employing enough nurses so that we do what is supposed to be done. We are sorry for these people. We are sorry for the community, because now we are going to concentrate on books more than concentrating on patients.
The Professional Educators Union PEU in Limpopo says a catch-up plan for grade 10 learners affected by the textbook fiasco must include extra classes. The Basic Education Department has announced that learners will be given study guides and DVDs to cover up for lost time. Teachers Union say the department hasn't confirmed whether teachers will be required for extra lessons. The PEU's provincial chairperson, Morris Pechi.
They can't fail to deliver books and bring in extra material that they think they're going to prepare for their catch-up. They failed, number one, to train teachers with camp. From last year, everything that had to do with training of teachers has been postponed minute after minute. We are expecting the impossible.
Further afield, half of America's firefighting resources have been deployed in Colorado, where wildfires are threatening the state's second biggest city, Colorado Springs. One person's been killed. Officials say they are making progress tackling the fires due to improved weather conditions. The Colorado Springs Fire Chief Rich Brown says the fires spread incredibly quickly.
Tuesday night was like something from an outer space type of movie or whatever. I mean, it was so surreal how quickly, how fast that fire blew down the mountain into the neighborhoods. I was obviously right there when it happened, and it consumed 346 homes and then partially damaged, I think it's 31.
President Obama declared the wildfires a major disaster, making federal funding available to Colorado.